Member for Tupong.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker for allowing me the opportunity to participate in the debate of the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 tabled by the the Honourable Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, who is also the Honourable Member for N15 Asal-Jaya. Tahniah kepada Yang Berhormat daripada Asal-Jaya di atas pembentangan bil yang begitu signifikan dan historical sekali. But first, I would like to start by bringing all of us to understand the spirit of the bill and our bidang kuasa. Kerana dua orang ahli Dewan ini yang lagi lama daripada saya, they seems to be confused parliamentarian. Mereka betul-betul confused, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Maka sebab itulah, let us understand first the spirit and bidang kuasa kita. Yang pertama, pada hari ini, Yang Berhormat daripada Asal-Jaya telah membentangkan bil di mana kita hendak meningkatkan kerusi Dewan daripada 82 ke 99. Itu saja. Itu sahaja bidang kuasa kita yang akan kita bincangkan pada hari ini. Tetapi ini disebabkan the delineation exercise yang terakhir pada tahun 2014. Jadi ianya boleh dilakukan selepas 8 tahun. Jadi sekarang lebih daripada 8 tahun boleh sudah dimbak ke DUN untuk kita bincang dan kita putuskan bersama. Pada hari ini kita akan membincangkan sama ada hendak meluluskan atau tidak. Itu saja. Tetapi apa yang berlaku selepas itu? Jika ianya diluluskan, maka kita akan mewartakan kelulusan di DUN ini dan kita serahkan kepada SPR. Sudah di luar bidang kuasa kita. Dan apabila diserahkan kepada SPR, maka barulah SPR mengeluarkan pemakluman dan warta notis 1. Dan di situ jika tidak berpuas hati, boleh bangkang lagi. Lepas itu pemakluman dan warta notis 2, barulah ianya pergi kepada proses-proses yang seterusnya. Jadi pada hari ini kita hanya membincangkan sama ada lulus ataupun tidak. Tetapi masalahnya, ahli yang berhormat daripada Pending dan Padungan, it seems that they are jumping the gun. Belum lagi kita melulus ataupun isinya sudah jumping the gun, mengatakan, menuduh, claiming that GPS hanya menambah kerusi ini for GPS advantage. 17 kerusi ini hanyalah untuk advantage kepada GPS. Dan kita mengamalkan pattern di mana kita hendak memastikan kuasa masih dipegang oleh GPS. Secara logiknya, kita ada 82 DUN dan kita menambah 17 kerusi. Sudah pasti ada di antara DUN-DUN yang terlibat dalam the delineation exercise kerana hanya 17 kerusi. Mun 82 kerusi ditambah, maka setiap DUN akan terlibat. Salah siapa? DAP hanya ada 2 kerusi. Bukannya salah kita. Itu adalah salah DAP sendiri kerana tidak mempunyai sokongan daripada masyarakat Sarawak. Maka sebab itulah mereka hanya ada 2 kerusi. And if SPR tidak mengambil kira kerusi mereka, apakan daya hanya 17 kerusi sahaja yang akan kita tambahkan. Itu nombor 1. And what can we argue here in the Dewan? Sudah tentu we argue whether we agree or not to agree. Yang berhormat daripada Pending mengatakan kawasan beliau begitu besar, maka perlu dibahagikan, perlu dipecahkan. Beliau bersetuju untuk kawasan beliau dipecahkan, tetapi beliau mengatakan beliau tidak setuju bil ini diluluskan. A confused parliamentarian. Satu lagi, beliau berkata penambahan parlimen sahaja mereka sokong, tetapi tidak penambahan kerusi DUN. Confused lagi sidak parliamentarian. Jika kita hanya menambah kerusi parlimen, ujung-ujungnya satu parlimen, satu DUN jadinya. Tidak masuk akal, and it shows how confused they are. Maka sebab itulah rakyat semakin menolak DAP. And we argue, let's debate on whether to support this motion or not. Yang pertamanya, mereka mengatakan one person, one vote. One person, one vote. Bagi pandangan saya yang berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, one person, one vote dan mengambil kira juga keluasan satu-satu tempat tersebut. Kalau kita ambil contoh Parlimen Hulu Rejang. Parlimen Hulu Rejang itu sama besar dengan Pahang. Sudah pasti tidak logik hanya mempunyai 3 DUN. Yang pastinya tanggungjawab kita di dalam Dewan yang mulia ini adalah yang satunya untuk kita meluluskan rang undang-undang ataupun membahaskan rang undang-undang dan membawa masalah rakyat ke dalam Dewan yang mulia ini. Jadi munya one person, one vote, yes, he will be carrying a lot of voices in the DUN, tetapi yakinlah itu bukannya our sole objective in this DUN. Sudah pastinya kita hendak membangunkan Sarawak ini setimpal ataupun selari dengan pembangunan di Semenanjung. Jika satu kawasan yang begitu besar, maka sudah tentunya dengan logiknya, munya ada seorang YB, maka peruntukannya dapatlah disalurkan kepada satu kawasan yang besar. Munya dibahagi 2, maka 2 peruntukan dapat disalurkan kepada kawasan yang lebih kecil. Jadi jelas ianya akan dapat memberi manfaat kepada kawasan DUN-DUN tersebut. Ibuh kita ngambil kira sikit gila manusia di kawasan dunia. Selagi kita tidak membangunkan satu kawasan tersebut, maka sampai bila-bilalah kawasannya akan berkembang populationnya. So that's why we have to develop a certain place, then only the population can develop. Maka sebab itu penting bagi kita mengambil kira keluasan satu-satu tempat tersebut. And this argument goes to SPR. Ni boleh kita menuduh GPS, madah gedak tu, madah gedak ya. Kita hanya meluluskan penambahan. The rest is up to SPR. Jadi seolah-olah ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri Pending dan Padungan tu si yakin dengan SPR yang berada di bawah bidang kuasa kerajaan madani. Si patut geraya. Kita patut yakin dengan kerajaan persekutuan di mana SPR di bawah bidang kuasa mereka akan melaksanakan tanggungjawab mereka dengan baik. Waktu si puas hati, wartanya boleh kita buat bantahan. Senang aja. Dan juga kalau kita lihat Semenanjung Malaysia tu besarnya, saya rasa Sarawak tu lebih besar. Kalau kita kira setiap negeri di Semenanjung Malaysia, kira berapa DUN-nya? Saya rasa lebih daripada 200, maka di Sarawak pun patutnya lebih daripada 200 DUN juga. Tapi siklah kita sampai menuntut untuk ada sampai 200 DUN, sekadar memadai untuk kita ada 99 DUN. Maka itulah yang kita bincangkan pada hari ini dan itulah kelulusan yang perlu kita dapatkan, itulah sokongan yang kita perlu daripada setiap adun, dan adun daripada Bangkang pun madah menyokong jika perlu kawasannya dipecah 2. Tapi oleh karenanya confused, yang madah menyokong untuk dipecah 2 tapi nyasib menyokong penambahan kerusi. Jadi yang berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, selain daripada itu juga sudah tentu, and lastly I would like to stress on the importance of this redelineation exercise and the impact it has to the partnership of Sarawak along with Sabah in the Federation. And also for the past few years we have been pushing for better representation in the Federal Parliament, whereby Sarawak as well as Sabah must have at least 1/3 of the seat. Itu juga ahli yang berhormat Pending pun confused, yang madah kita tidak memperjuangkan objektif ini dan saya juga tidak pernah mendengar Yang Berhormat daripada Padungan menyebut perkara ini dalam Parlimen. Jadi kita harap Yang Berhormat daripada Padungan juga fight for this cause, and I would wait to see him talk about this in Parliament. This is to restore the status quo of Malaysia and its partner during the formation of Malaysia, whereby Sarawak, Sabah and Singapore represented 1/3 of the Parliament before Singapore left the Federation. So this is a constitutional safeguard that was guaranteed through the Cobalt Commission and report during the Malaysia's formation. And this is the first step for us to reach that objective, iaitu menambah kerusi DUN kita daripada 82 tu kepada 99. And it should be restored to ensure that we have a say in the laws that are passed in Parliament, and to ensure that no laws are detrimental to Sarawak rights and interests that can be bulldozed. So, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I call upon on the Election Commission. Ya betul, we call upon the Election Commission. Jangan menuduh kerajaan GPS, jangan menuduh satu-satu parti, komponen parti trying to secure all the seats. Kedong ada 17 seats, mungkin DAP boleh ambil 15 seat, PKR ambil 2 seat, ataupun yang ambil ke 17 seat je. It's up to you, and it's up to us to decide. Jika ianya diluluskan, nanti kami berbincang sesama kami untuk pembahagian kerusi itu. Please do not interfere, jangan masuk campur hal orang. And I call on the federal government as well and the Parliament to approve this proposal. Dengan itu, Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, saya mohon menyokong. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Member for Meradong.
Thank you, Tan Sri Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate on Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, before I proceed, I would like to, on behalf of the people of Meradong, express our deepest condolences to Yang Amat Berhormat Premier on the passing of his beloved wife, Puan Sri Jumani binti Tuanku Bujang. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, under the Sarawak State Constitution, changes to the composition of the Legislative Assembly can be made after a minimum of 8 years. The last time this August House passed the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Ordinance 2014 was more than 10 years ago on 11th November 2014. Since then, Sarawak has undergone tremendous transformation, economically, socially, and infrastructurally. Among the most significant changes was the introduction of automatic voter registration and the reduction of voting age from 21 to 18, famously known as Undi 18. This has resulted in a substantial increase in the number of registered voters, and many young Sarawakians exercise their right to vote for the first time during the 2021 state election and 2022 general election, which marked a new era of youth participation in our democratic process. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in view of these developments, it is timely and necessary for us to consider the introduction of Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 as tabled by the Honourable Member for N15, Asajaya, who also serves as the Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, and also Minister for Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development. The proposed amendment is crucial for several key reasons. Oversized constituencies. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, some state constituencies cover vast geographical areas, making it difficult for elected representatives to efficiently serve their constituents and carry out their duties effectively. Sudden surge in voters. The implementation of automatic voter registration and lowering of the voting age has led to an unexpected and significant increase in voter numbers. Several constituencies now have an unmanageably large electorate, posing challenges to proper representation and engagement. Sarawak's new economic status and rapid growth. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, recognized by the World Bank as a high-income state, Sarawak's development is accelerating across its vast landmass. This necessitates the expansion of representation to ensure that government initiatives are properly planned, implemented, and monitored. The formation of more development agencies will also require close collaboration with local representatives to ensure that every corner of Sarawak benefits from these efforts. Inclusive development through effective representation. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, at the heart of good governance and sustainable progress lies effective representation. Ensuring every Sarawakian voice is heard and no community is left behind must be our guiding principle as we move forward with our development agenda. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, I am not at all surprised honourable members from Pending and Pedungan chose not to support the bill just because it is tabled by a government minister. Honourable member for Pending should also know that the lack of clean water and electricity supply are mainly at rural or remote areas. And with the increase in representation, people in those areas can be better looked after and thus can help to solve those issues. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, with the additional state seats, we have strong justification to request for increase in parliamentary representation, and hopefully we can achieve 1/3 parliamentary seats together with Sabah in the near future, which is truly under the spirit of MA 63 and IGC report. Tan Sri Dharma Speaker, this amendment is not just timely, it is imperative. It aligns with the evolving democratic landscape and the growing needs of our people. Let us work together to ensure that the voices of all Sarawakians, regardless of geography or generation, are equally and effectively represented in this House. With that, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I strongly support the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Thank you.
Member for Batu Lintang.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to participate in this debate on the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025, entitled to make provision in respect of the composition of the membership to increase the number of elected members of this August House to 99, pursuant to Article 14(2) of the Constitution of Sarawak. In the explanatory statement, it stated that this new ordinance is necessary and appropriate, having regard to the increase in the number of electors and effective representation of the people in this legislature. Both of these are well covered by my honourable and learned colleagues. I will comment on the other rationales stated in the same statement, that is, I quote, the accelerating pace of the development of Sarawak since 2014, which I consider it a gross understatement and an appalling injustice to our present Sarawak government and administration. But then we are taught to value tastelessness and understatements. Having said that, and noting that we have the outstanding financial achievement in Sarawak, that Sarawak has attained today as compared to 2014, I would just like to lay emphasis on the need of this August House for institutional building and transformation to meet the ongoing devolution of administrative, legislative and fiscal autonomy to Sarawak, and the imperative to generate the political momentum towards further devolution of those subject matters to Sarawak in accordance with the Malaysian Agreement 1963, the Federal Constitution and our laws, and the government must better determine how the rights, interests and benefits should be delivered to all Sarawakians and to hold authorities accountable for their delivery. To cope with the accelerating pace of development of Sarawak since 2014, we actually need more than 99 elected members in this August House. But 99 is great as an immediate step forward. The number counts. It is the duty and responsibility to make ourselves and the new members count to face the current challenges with the change in the political landscape in Malaysia, our region and the world. Incidentally, and barely 2 months ago, the Singaporean has gone to the poll and the unicameral Singaporean Parliament has elected 99 members of Parliament. Among them, 97 were directly elected, while 2 non-constituency members of Parliament, the NCMPs, were declared elected to Parliament. The provisions in the Constitution of Singapore and legislation governing the composition of membership in the Parliament are similar to our Article 14(2) and the present subject ordinance we are debating and seeking to enact. In Singapore, they can have, at the moment, a maximum of 105 members of Parliament. I must declare and make clear from the outset that I'm not saying that our Sarawak Legislative Assembly and the Singaporean Parliament, nor Sarawak and Singapore are identical, though we do share some little historical, cultural, political and other attributes. Maybe I should say that the good governance, development, progress and good administration make them one of those nation states that we can benchmark against or upon. Maybe many may be surprised to know that a small island nation has 99 members of parliament in their unicameral parliament, considering the total land area of Singapore is approximately 735.7 square kilometers as at the end of December 2024, as compared to Sarawak, which covers an area of 124,450 square meters. We are 214 times larger than the land size of Singapore. If we are to take the land size as comparison to determine the needs for a nation state to determine their composition of membership in the legislature, as one of our honourable member has suggested, one Singaporean MP at the moment serves on average a constituency of 7.5 square kilometers. This compared to our elected representatives who serve on average a constituency of 1,517 square kilometers. Should we therefore have 202 members in this August House, or Singapore should have only one member in their parliament? Yes, those are factual data, but poor reference used for determining of the composition of membership in the Legislative Assembly. Similarly, just to enlighten the same honourable member, in Australia, 14% of the land area is deserted, and 35% are arid or desert-like. Hence, in their country, 40% of the area is declared as uninhabitable due to the harsh conditions like extreme heat and lack of water. However, and undoubtedly, the composition of membership of a parliament and a state assembly is one determining factor in the nation's building, of a particular nation state. When Singapore was with us in a big family in 1963 to 1965, their number of MPs was only 15, while we have 24 at that time. When Singapore took the inevitable step to take it upon themselves to build their nation state, the very first step they took was to have a parliament consisting of 51 members. It shows that the working of the composition of membership in the legislature, in the legislative house, matters. To keep up with the accelerating pace of development of Sarawak since 2014, to particularly address the need of our legislative arm for institutional building and transformation to meet the ongoing devolution of administrative, legislative and fiscal autonomy to Sarawak, and the imperative to generate the political momentum towards further devolution of those subject matters to Sarawak, and to improve governance, to invigorate and sustain development, to version progress and instill best practice, responsibility and accountability in public administration, the new composition of membership is key. Besides the effective representation of the diverse Sarawaki communities in this legislature, we need their involvement and participation in the decision-making, policy-making to address the needs and aspirations of Sarawak and all Sarawakians. The members of this Honourable DEWAN must also serve to examine all issues, scrutinize government actions, provide detailed reports with recommendations to this August House, to also ensure accountability and transparency in government administration. Those are the roles and purposes of parliamentary select committees or parliamentary committees, which are crucial for a healthy democracy. At the Westminster, these committees of the Parliament of the United Kingdom are made up of a number of members of Parliament from the House of Commons, or peers in the House of Lords, or a mixture of both, appointed to deal with particular areas or issues. The majority of the parliamentary committees are select committees which are categorized as departmental, topical, or internal select committees, working within the ambit of standing orders, investigate specific issues, or scrutinize the work of the government. The working of the select committees are also one of Parliament's mechanisms to hold the private sectors to account. In Malaysia, 10 parliamentary special select committees, PSSCs, were formed in our House of Commons to assist the government in addressing issues across all 29 ministries. For comparison, the Parliament of the United Kingdom has 20 departmental select committees that examine the expenditure, administration, and policy of government departments, numerous other general committees that primarily examine proposed legislature, grant committees, joint committees, and that consist of members from both the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and other committees. Singapore has 7 standing select committees, a special select committee on nomination of appointment of nominated members of parliament, and 12 governmental parliamentary committees, GPCs, each of which is assigned a portfolio corresponding to one or more ministerial portfolios for the GPC to examine the policies, programs, and proposed legislature of a particular ministries, to provide the ministries with feedback and suggestions, and is consulted by the ministry on issues of public interest. With a new composition of membership in our Honourable DEWAN, this August House can undertake the necessary transformation and institutional reforms to strengthen our constitutional democracy for the benefits and interests of Sarawak and all Sarawakians. In the same breath, and based on the aforesaid, it's my hope that this Honourable DEWAN may soon be presented, considered, and approved a bill made under Article 6(3)(b) to increase the number of members of the Dewan Undangan Negeri to be appointed as members of the Majlis Mesyuarat Kerajaan Negeri. Sarawak has turned a new leaf since 2014. It bears upon us in this honourable assembly to take Sarawak to a new, higher and better political plan. With that, I support the bill. Thank you, Tuan Speaker.
Member for Katibas.
Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, first and foremost, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to debate on this important bill, Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Ordinance 2025 for our beloved Sarawak. Before I proceed, please allow me to convey on behalf of the people of Katibas our deepest condolence to Yang Amat Berhormat Premier on the passing of his beloved wife, which is a great loss to the people of Sarawak. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, I rise to support this bill to increase our Dewan Undangan Negeri membership from 82 to 99 seats on the ground of fair and equitable to Sarawak and Sarawakian, especially underdeveloped rural. I wish to congratulate Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan dan Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N15 Asajaya for successful tabling of this important bill. Let me reaffirm, Mr. Speaker, sir, Sarawak is in Malaysia, not in South Africa, and it is located on the northwestern part of the island of Borneo. It's the largest state in Malaysia, with its vast land area of approximately 124,450 square kilometers. Sarawak alone accounts for over 1/3 of Malaysia's total land mass. Despite its size, Sarawak is home to just about 2.8 million people, making it one of the most sparsely populated regions in the country of 34 million people, as registered in the DOSOM 2020. Despite its size, Sarawak population density is about 20 people per square kilometer compared to national average of 90 person per square kilometer, or our neighboring Sabah 44, or Pahang 46 person per square kilometer. Sarawak sparse settlement mean large swath of rural and forested areas. Sarawak population is remarkably diverse, consisting of more than 40 ethnic groups. The largest indigenous is the Iban, Malay, Melanau, Chinese, and also Orang Ulu. The native indigenous community occupy mostly in rural areas. This mix of ethnicities has given us a rich cultural landscape with multiple languages, customs, and festivals coexist harmoniously. Sarawak is also known for rich cultural diversity, abundant natural resources, and stunning biodiversity, of which make it an important and unique part of Malaysia. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, as we know, the fact that we have only 31 parliamentary seats in that of 222 seats at the federal level, despite our landmass. In that, also our parliamentary and Sarawak Legislative Assembly have different sizes, as our geography is also defined by long winding rivers such as Rajang Rivers and rugged interior rainforests of Mount Mulu, Bukit Goram, Bukit Sepali, and Ulu Katibas, while some are densely populated Miri, Bintulu, Sibu, Kuching cities. Some parliament seats comprise of 3 state assemblies, like our Kapit P215, which consists of Katibas, Pelagos, and Bukit Goram. While Sarawak is endowed with abundant natural resources, it also faces development challenges, especially in rural areas. Many rural communities still lack infrastructures, such as road, clean water, electricity, internet connectivities. The Sarawak government has made rural development a priority, investing in our education, healthcare, and digital infrastructure to close the gap between urban and rural population. Of course, environmental protection is another challenge, as deforestation and land development continue to threaten the biodiversity, all of the above enshrined in our PCDS 2030. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, today Sarawak Legislative Assembly has 82 seats. This number does not proportionate according to our land mass. It is therefore timely to increase the seat to ensure that we improve representation and oversight for marginalized remote communities. We can reach out for a better coverage to ensure no one is left behind. New constituencies can ensure that this group have direct political representation, making their concern more likely to be heard in the Legislative Assembly. The additional seat can serve better administrative convenience and governance, as the areas are undergoing rapid development. Likewise, the governance structure, such as road, school, hospital, etc., are becoming more complex, are in need of more attention. It is therefore more effective and good governance as small areas come with improved focus and coordination to manage, improve our accessibility, improve our responsiveness and accountability of their elected representative. The new additional seat will ensure balanced development, as some rural areas are vast and underdeveloped. The new constituencies can help focus our development effort, which will provide fair allocation for development budget to redress rural-urban balanced developments. This will be made possible as the elected representative will have a smaller area and more manageable population to cater to, thus reducing neglect. For example, Parliament P215 Kapit is good example why we should increase our state constituencies. With the land size of 6,300 over square kilometer, sparsely populated, unevenly distributed, with a population of 43,000 people, or we have only 7 people per square kilometer in our P215 Kapit. Without redrawing or creating new constituencies, the elected representative may represent far more people than the others, leading to unequal representation and very unfair to those in rural due to its remoteness that violate the principle of no one is left behind if we cannot reach out for everyone. The new seat will also in support of our social inclusivity and minimize the development gap between urban and rural. Again, by God's willing, we hope by 2030 all settlement areas will be fully connected. By then, we have probably no more term as rural areas. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Utama Speaker, in addition to the foregoing merit, it is obviously necessary and appropriate to increase our legislature from 82 to 99 with regard to having increase in our electors since inception of 1828, which led to overall need for effective representation for people and the accelerating pace of the development of Sarawak since 2014 under the stewardship of our Premier Abang Jo and the GPS teams. Sarawak is a land of immense beauty, diversity and potential. As the largest state in Malaysia, it plays its vital role in the nation's economy, culture and ecological balance. Therefore, it deserves full autonomy in its representation to reach out at every corner of its border and oversight on every village in the remote areas. In view of the merits of the bill, for Sarawak Maju Makmur, kita segolai sejalai, we must push together with Sarawak first. It is hereby Katibas back to support the bill for the future of Sarawak and its people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Bali.
Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, terlebih dahulu saya ingin merakamkan penghargaan. Terima kasih kerana memberikan peluang kepada saya untuk turut serta dalam membahaskan rang Undang-Undang Dewan Undangan Negeri komposisi keanggotaan 2025 di Dewan yang mulia ini pada petang ini. Ribuan terima kasih juga kepada Yang Berhormat Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan Sarawak di atas usul pindaan rang undang-undang ini. Saya mewakili rakyat N64 Bali merakamkan ucap taziah kepada Yang Berhormat Premier dan keluarga atas pembergian isteri beliau pada 23 Jun 2025 yang lalu. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, dalam pembahasan isu rang undang-undang ini, saya sangat bersetuju dengan saranan usul yang dibentangkan oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan Sarawak dengan usul penambahan keanggotaan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri sebanyak 17 ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri daripada 82 ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri yang sedia ada kepada 99 ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri. Saya takkan mengambil contoh negara ataupun negeri yang lain. Saya hanya mengambil contoh kawasan saya di DUN N64 Bali yang di dalam kawasan Parlimen 216 Hulu Rijang. Berikut merupakan beberapa faktor yang memerlukan penambahan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri. Pertama, pertambahan penduduk. Kawasan Bali mengalami pertambahan penduduk dari tahun ke tahun termasuk peningkatan populasi di rumah panjang, penempatan baru serta kawasan luar bandar yang berkembang. Ini boleh menyebabkan ketidakseimbangan bilangan pengundi antara kawasan DUN yang sedia ada, keluasan geografi yang luas dan sukar diakses. Bali merupakan kawasan yang sangat luas dan terdiri daripada kawasan pendalaman yang sukar diakses seperti skim penempatan baru di Tunu, kawasan Sungai Mujung, kawasan Ulu Mujung dan kawasan Ulu Bali. Kawasan ini memerlukan wakil rakyat tambahan untuk memberi perhatian lebih dekat kepada penduduk terpencil. Kesukaran perkhidmatan dan akses infrastruktur. Infrastruktur seperti jalan, raya, sekolah, klinik dan bekalan asas masih memerlukan banyak pembangunan. Dengan lebih banyak kerusi, wakil rakyat dapat memberi fokus yang lebih tersusun dan berkesan terhadap pembangunan mikro di kawasan kecil di dalam Bali. Ketidakseimbangan beban tugas wakil rakyat. Dengan keluasan dan kepadatan penduduk yang semakin meningkat, seorang wakil DUN menghadapi kesukaran untuk memberikan perkhidmatan yang terbaik mencukupi kepada seluruh kawasan. Penambahan kursi dapat membantu mengagihkan bebanan kerja dan tanggungjawab kepada wakil rakyat yang lain. Penambahan kursi akan memastikan wakil rakyat lebih mencerminkan suara rakyat di kawasan tersebut. Ini memberi peluang yang lebih adil kepada semua komuniti etnik dan lokaliti untuk bersuara dan menyumbang dalam proses membuat keputusan kerajaan. Kawasan balik ini terlibat dengan projek besar seperti empangan hidroelektrik balik, manakala cadangan untuk membina sumber tenaga melata di Sungai Gad kini masih dalam proses kajian kebolehlassanaan. Ini menarik kemasukan tenaga kerja, kontraktor dan mewujudkan kawasan bandar baru yang seterusnya menuntut pengurusan kawasannya lebih efisien dari segi politik dan pembangunan. Pertambahan jumlah pengundi khasnya yang melibatkan undi 18 turut menuntut pertambahan kursi di Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak ini. Menurut statistik perangkaan 2022, jumlah pengundi yang berumur 18 tahun ke 20 tahun adalah sebanyak 143,609 atau 20.9% dari jumlah pengundi berdaftar baru di Sarawak pada 2022. Dan jumlah ini semakin meningkat setiap tahun, melibatkan pertambahan pengundi di seluruh kawasan Dewan Undangan Negeri. Justru usul pertambahan ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri di Sarawak bukan sahaja tepat, malah sangat bersesuaian dengan keadaan sosiopolitik dan geopolitik di Sarawak pada masa kini. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, justru itu dengan pembentangan hujah saya di Dewan yang mulia pada hari ini, saya dengan ini menyokong penuh usul penambahan 17 ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri berlandaskan Rang Undang-Undang Dewan Undangan Negeri Komposisi Keanggotaan 2025 yang dibentangkan oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri Pelancongan Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Korean.
Terima kasih Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker kerana memberi peluang kepada KRIAN untuk mengambil bahagian dalam membahaskan rang undang-undang kerajaan, Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition and of Memberships Bill 2025 yang dibentangkan oleh ahli yang berhormat dari Asajaya sebelah pagi tadi. Sebelum itu, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I would like to join my colleague on behalf of the people of KRIAN to extend my heartfelt condolences to our Yang Amat Berhormat Premier and his entire family on the passing of his beloved wife, the late Dato' Amma Hajah Jumakni Tun Tuanku Haji Bujang. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, this bill proposes to increase the number of elected members of the Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak from the current 82 to 99. The enabling law, i.e. Article 14(1)(b) of the Constitution of the State of Sarawak provides that the Dewan Undangan Negeri shall consist of such number of elected members as the legislature may by law prescribe. The proposed increase is also in line with Article 113(2) of the Federal Constitution, which states that after an interval of over 8 years, the state can request the Election Commission for a review and to add a number of seats at the Dewan Undangan Negeri. This is also to comply with the constitutional principle of one person, one vote, one value, requiring constituencies to be approximately equal in the number of voters. The last increase was made in 2014, whereby it was increased from 71 to 82. The proposed increase also reflects the commitment of the GPS government to ensure that the people are well represented and its development effort commensurate with the current demographic landscape and the dynamics in the state. It will also ensure smooth, effective, and more efficient administration to propel Sarawak towards a faster pace of development as contained in the PCDS 2030. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, the proposed increase in the number of state seats is most appropriate and very timely as Sarawak moves toward a new phase of development. With a size of 124,450 square kilometers, Sarawak needs a more aggressive approach to enhance further its development efforts. The geographical and demographic outlooks also require a comprehensive planning to make sure that development are able to reach every nook and corner of the state. As it is now, there are some seats that are bigger than some of the states in the Peninsular Malaysia. Therefore, it is imminent that some large state seats to be reviewed and to ensure better representation in the state legislature. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, another factor that warrants an increase in the number of members in the State Legislative Assembly is the increase in the population of Sarawak, which now stands at 2,939,785 as of October 2024. With that, the number of registered voters had also increased from 1,994,330 as in June 2024 to 2,008,347 voters in January 2025. Therefore, the proposed revision will ensure that our populace vis-à-vis the voters will be equally and adequately represented and served. Therefore, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, in conclusion, I pray that the agency concerned while doing the redelineation exercise will be able to strike a balance between the urban and rural areas to ensure a fair distribution and avoid disparities between urban and rural in terms of representation. This is in line with the government's endeavor to bring more development and to transform the rural sectors in years to come. With that, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support the bill. Thank you.
Member for Tanjung Batu.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, for allowing me to participate in the debate in support of the DEWAN UNDANGAN NEGERI Composition of Membership Ordinance 2025, tabled by M15 Asajaya and Daniel YB Dato' Sri Haji Abdul Karim Ramang Hamzah. Before I proceed, allow me to represent the people of my constituency, N68 Tanjung Batu Bintulu, in expressing our deepest condolence to the Right Honourable Yang Amat Berhormat Premier of Sarawak on the passing of his beloved wife, Puan Sri Dato' Amar Haji Jumani Tuanku Haji Bujang. Her loss is deeply felt by the whole state. Our thoughts and prayers are with YAB Premier and his family during this time of mourning. May they find strength and comfort in the love and support of the people of Sarawak. Tan Sri Amar Speaker, the bill before us today is straightforward in its legal construction, but monumental in its impact. It seeks to increase the number of elected members in this honorable House from 82 to 99. And this move is not without precedent. Our Constitution, under Article 14, Blanket 1, Blanket B, clearly provides that the number of elected members of this DEWAN may be determined by law passed by this very legislature. Article 14, Blanket 2 further provides that until such law is met, the number shall remain at 48. This means the legal mechanism for change has long existed, and today we are simply exercising that right once again to meet current realities. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, allow me to briefly take this Honorable House down memory line. In 1985, we had 56 seats. In 1995, expanded to 62. In 2005 to 71, and then in 2014 to the current 82. Now, after more than a decade since the last revision, we are proposing an increase to 99 seats. This is not just a numerical change, it is a strategic and forward-thinking step motivated by very real and pressing factors. First, the exponential increase in the number of electors. Sarawak has witnessed significant population growth over the last decade. With more voters comes the responsibility to ensure that every voice is adequately represented. Without increasing the number of constituencies, we risk overburdening existing representatives and diluting the power of democratic representation. Second, the accelerating path of development. Sarawak is no longer what it was in 2014. The past decade has seen transformative economic progress, with our cities expanding, our rural areas be more accessible through connectivity initiative, and our economy diversify across sectors such as energy, technology, tourism, and green development. This advancement demands a corresponding enhancement in governance. More representatives will allow for a stronger and more localized presence of elected leaders who can ensure that no development initiative is left unchecked or unmonitored. Third, the impact of Undi 18 and automatic voters registration. The implementation of Undi 18 has brought in a significant rise of new young voters into our electoral roll. This demographic shift not only increased the number of electors, but also underscores the need for greater representation to ensure that the voice of our youth are heard and reflected in the legislative process. Our DEWAN must evolve to reflect this new landscape of participation and social involvement. Fourth, to strengthen the legislative process and governance. We are a legislature that enacts laws, approves budgets, debates policy, and checks the executive. As our population and development grow, the complexity of these duties also expands. More elected members mean broader expertise, rich debate, more thorough oversight, and above all, more effective representation. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, this move will also enhance inclusivity. Sarawak is a land of great diversity. Each new seat opens up an opportunity to represent underrepresented groups, marginalized communities, or emerging urban centers that have evolved significantly over the years. Our goal is not only to add numbers, but to add value, representation, and legitimacy. May I pose a rhetorical question to this august House? If not now, then when? If not us, who will ensure Sarawak is prepared for the future challenge of governance and representation? If we truly want to secure Sarawak's rightful place and voice in the Federation, shouldn't we also aim for stronger representation in Parliament? Only when more Dome seats are created, we can justify more parliamentary seats, ensuring Sarawak's voice is louder, stronger, and fairly represented in the national discourse. It is worth remembering that the very legislature, born from the aspiration of Sarawak people and strengthened by the Malaysia Agreement Act 1963, has the duty to involve in tandem with the riot. As we mark this milestone, let us reaffirm our role not only as lawmakers, but as torchbearers of Sarawak's rightful place in the Federation. Of course, it is acknowledged that the expansion comes with the financial implications. However, I believe the cost of effective democracy and governance is a worthy investment. The cost of poor representation or neglect areas and of disconnected policy is far higher. It is also important to note that the amendment does not involve change to the Constitution of the State of Sarawak. The constitutional provisions already empower us to prescribe the number of elected members via legislation. Hence, we are doing today is in full compliance with the legal and procedural framework established in our Constitution. Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Speaker, let us not wait until disparity and discontent arise due to the underrepresentation. Let us plan ahead. Let us ensure the governance in Sarawak remains people-centric, inclusive, and responsive. This bill is not just about numbers, it's about capacity, capability, and commitment to serve every Sarawakian better. To close, allow me to share a local pantun. Burung kengerang terupai pagi, bergulai jinak badan tinggi. Wakil rakyat nampak agi, sadar rakyat mana agi. With that, I fully support the DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Ordinance 2025. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Member for Telang Usam.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dr. Ahmad Speaker. Good afternoon to you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving N77 Telang Usan the floor to partake in debate on the bill titled Dewan Undangan Negara Kerajaan Composition of Membership Bills 2025, tabled in this sitting today in the name of N15 Asajaya. Foremost, on behalf of the people of the constituency of N77 Telang Usan and the entire population of P220 Baram, wishes to offer and record our deepest sympathy and heartfelt condolences to our beloved Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak on the untimely demise, and called to be with her maker of his beloved wife, the late Puan Sri Dato' Amar Jumaani Tun Tuanku Haji Bujang recently. We pray that YB Premier and his family to be showered with strength and peace throughout their challenging times. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 113(2) Roman 2 of the Federal Constitution allow for the review of state constituencies after minimum of 8 years after the last review or redelineation. As we all aware, the last review or redelineation of Sarawak state constituencies was done in 2015, when the number of constituencies was increased from 71 to 82. It has been 10 years since the last review of the Sarawak state constituency, and the bill to increase the number of our state constituency from 82 to 99 is in accordance to Article 113(2) Roman 2 of the Federal Constitution and very timely. Our Sarawak is the biggest region in Malaysia with a total size area of approximately 12 million hectares and population of around 3 million, of which about 2 million are registered voters as at January 2025. Official Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya Malaysia record. The federal law enable automatic registration of voters above 18 years old and eligible voters who did not register previously have resulted in a big increase in the number of voters in all constituencies since the law was implemented in our country. Tan Sri dan Tuan Speaker, Sir, peningkatan jumlah pengundi yang sangat ketara lewat ini tanpa penambahan kerusi Dewan Undangan Negeri boleh menimbulkan ketidakseimbangan dari segi representasi politik sekaligus menjejaskan kecekapan penyampaian perkhidmatan oleh wakil rakyat. Sehubungan itu, cadangan penambahan kawasan DUN bukan sahaja merupakan suatu keperluan yang munasabah, malah turut menjamin keadilan dalam sistem demokrasi serta memperkukuhkan keberkesanan pentadbiran dan perwakilan politik di peringkat akar umbi. In addition to the significant increase in the number of voters, some of the existing rural constituencies, in particular the constituency of N65 Balaga, N66 Murum, N77 Telangusan, and N78 Mulu, cover large areas between 10,000 to 14,000 square kilometers compared to smaller urban constituencies. Article 117 of the Federal Constitution provides that state constituencies shall be determined in accordance to the 13th schedule of the Federal Constitution. Clause 2B, Clause 2 bracket B of the 13th schedule provide the special weightage shall be given to large rural constituency in delineation exercise. I wish to remind Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya Malaysia, in the due process with our redelineation to come, must take this into strict account to ensure rural population of ours to get the fair share of the state's and the country development in faster manner. Therefore, the proposed increase in state constituency from the current 82 to 99 is necessary due to the significant increase in number of voters arising from the automatic registration of those more than 18 years old as voters, and also to rationalize the geographical size of rural and urban constituency in order for elected representatives to effectively serve rural constituency and voters. The final location and shape or boundary of the resulting 99 constituencies will be determined by the Election Commission, and it is not within the purview of this august House. The increase in the number of constituencies from 82 to 99 will definitely give a stronger representation and voice for our electorates, and will also provide a wider avenue for inclusivity and better delivery of service to the rakyat. Mr. Speaker, Sir, Dalam konteks lokaliti subjek ini iaitu P220 Baram merupakan salah satu kawasan parlimen terbesar di Malaysia dengan keluasan mencecah 22,000 km persegi, iaitu lebih besar daripada beberapa negeri di semenanjung Malaysia seperti Perlis dan Melaka jika digabungkan. Kawasan yang luas ini hanya diwakili oleh 3 dun, iaitu N76 Marudi, N77 Telangusan dan N78 Mulu, menjadikan tugasan seorang wakil rakyat sangat mencabar dalam menyampaikan khidmatan yang berkesan kepada rakyat. Sebahagian besar kampung dan pendapatan di Baram hanya boleh diakses melalui jalan balak, sungai ataupun penerbangan kecil. Penduduk di kawasan pendalaman terpaksa mengambil masa berjam-jam, malah sehingga 14 jam perjalanan menggunakan kenderaan pancuan 4 roda menggunakan jalan balak untuk ke pusat pentadbiran ataupun mendapat kemudahan asas. Keadaan ini membuktikan bahawa skop kerja dan tanggungjawab 3 adun ini masih tidak mencukupi untuk menampung keluasan geografi, keperluan infrastruktur dan kepelbagaian komuniti di kawasan Baram. Oleh itu, penubuhan Dewan Undangan Negeri DUN baharu di Baram amat diperlukan bagi memastikan suara rakyat di kawasan pendalaman dapat didengar dengan lebih jelas, pembangunan dapat diselaras dengan lebih terperinci dan perkhidmatan kerajaan disampaikan secara lebih berkesan dan dekat kepada masyarakat luar bandar. Dan apa yang lebih besar impaknya nanti adalah pengecilan saiz-saiz dun di kawasan Baram nanti akan membolehkan peruntukan untuk pembangunan infrastruktur dan ameniti seperti peruntukan Special Fund yang dulu kita panggil Minor Rural Project yang disalurkan selama ini mengikut dun-dun akan bertambah untuk kawasan Baram khasnya. Mr. Speaker Sir, namun percayalah, saya dan rakan-rakan saya adun dan MP di Baram tidak pernah komplain. Saiz Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak yang kami wakili sangat besar atau menjadi alasan tidak menjalankan tugas kami. Sebabnya kami senantiasa berpendapat kami dan parti GPS lah yang terbaik untuk mewakili rakyat kita di dun-dun ini. Namun sebagai manusia biasa, jauh di sudut hati kami berpendapat ada rakan-rakan kita dalam Dewan Undangan Negeri yang mulia ini bernasib baik kerana mewakili kawasan dun yang tersedia agensi kerajaan untuk menyampai atau menjalankan tanggungjawab wajib kerajaan melaksanakan agenda pembangunan di kawasan-kawasan di bandar dan di bibir bandar kerana kawasan ini adalah kawasan tumpuan negeri, tumpuan negara, tumpuan dunia. Mau tidak mau, kerajaan terpaksa menumpu pembangunan mewah di kawasan-kawasan ini. Therefore, with one additional, hopefully, kawasan dun di Parlimen P220 Baram, sedikit sebanyak visi kita membangunkan kawasan Baram yang kita gelar, quote, The Last Frontier of Sarawak, unquote, akan lebih cepat mendapat kemudahan asas seperti di kawasan lain di wilayah Sarawak ini. Secara keseluruhannya, cadangan penambahan satu lagi kawasan Dewan Undangan Negeri di Baram merupakan langkah yang tepat dan strategik. Inisiatif ini bukan sahaja berupa menangani sebahagian cabaran berkaitan keluasan geografi, pertambahan jumlah pengundi serta kengkangan pembangunan asas, malah turut menyumbang kepada peningkatan kecekapan takbir, urus dan ketulusan penyampaian perkhidmatan oleh rakyat, wakil rakyat. Tambahan kerusi dun ini juga sejajar dengan aspirasi Sarawak untuk memperkukuhkan autonomi negeri serta memperkasakan sistem pentadbiran tempatan yang lebih responsif dan inklusif terhadap keperluan rakyat Sarawak. Mr. Speaker Sir, saya dan kawasan N77 Telangusan bertuah kerana telah menerima impak positif hasil persempadanan semula terakhir iaitu pada tahun 2015 di mana DUN Telangusan yang sebesar negeri Melaka telah dipecah kepada DUN N78 Telangusan dan N78 Mulu. Membolehkan pelaksanaan peruntukan tahunan projek RTP ataupun Rural Transformation Project MRP dan lain-lain dapat lebih fokus dalam kawasan DUN yang lebih kecil dari lebih 140 kampung dan rumah panjang ke kini 88 buah. Mr. Speaker, sir, I could see around this August House today, the House special sitting on DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 subject is carried out with great confidence. My fellow member of backbenchers spoke with the highest enthusiasm and high hope for better Sarawak. Redelineation is a huge subject, far-reaching, and not to mention come with huge responsibility and cost. But we are confident our state, under the able leadership of the Right Honourable Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Zohri bin Tun Datuk Haji Openg, our leader extraordinaire, have got his concrete plan and strategy to ensure the state to have steady flow of income and revenue to meet the high demand or high expectation of our rakyat, especially constituents at the new 17 new state seats. As the Chinese goes, Kong Pun Boyong. Imagine having 99 working rakyat all chasing after YB Premier for development projects. But under Abang Jo, kita yakin Sarawak boleh. To conclude, I therefore, together with all GPS honourable members of this August House, give my full support for the bill tabled by the Honourable Minister of Tourism, Creative and Performing Arts and Member for State Legislative Assembly, DUN, for N15 Asajaya. God bless. Thank you.
Member for Meluan.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker. Sebelum nerus kerja aku ngari ke rakyat hari kuasa Meluan ngatai ke penyinu hati ngagai YAB Premier ngau sidat sebilik kau dah ditinggal ke orang tik ke disayau bersampi ke semangat ia diau ngau selamat dalam syurga. Again, thank you, Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to take part in this debate. DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 proposed to increase the number of elected members of the DEWAN Undangan Negeri from the current 82 to 99. I stand here joining my other GPS colleagues in this August House to support the bill, as I feel and believe that it is timely and appropriate now the bill to be introduced. Tan Sri Datuk Ahmad Speaker, I do not know exactly where the new DEWAN Undangan Negeri is going to be, but I hope that SPR will focus on creating new seats in rural areas, especially in Meluan. Furthermore, the policy is still to give more focus on the development of rural areas. That is to narrow the development gap between the rural and urban areas. Therefore, with more seats allocated to rural areas, this aspiration can be realized sooner. It is accordance with the Federal Constitution, Article 113, bracket 2, Romans 2, bracket Romans 2, which stated that after an interval of over 8 years, the state can request the Election Commission for review to 8 number of seats in DEWAN Undangan Negeri. Last exercise done for Sarawak was in 2014. Indeed, it's the right time the bill to be introduced. There is an increase of number of new voters in Sarawak over the years since the Constitution Amendment Act 2019, which changed the minimum age for voting from 21 years to 18 years old. We also have the numbers of state constituency, which are as big as the areas of some states in Peninsular Malaysia. By having a smaller in size constituency, one should put concentrated effort and able to focus more without wasting too much time on traveling within the constituency. Needless to say, the constituent will definitely benefit when the Wakil Rakyat will be allocated more funds to develop the area, especially in rural areas. The other aspect warrants this exercise to be implemented is the ability of the state government to allocate funds to all the 99 constituencies. Later, due to ability of the state government having enough funds, due to good governance and healthy finance led by our YAB Premier. Based on the above reasons, I do not see why any young government in this August House should oppose to the bill table. We have to move forward to make sure that our beloved state will develop at least at par with our counterpart in Peninsular Malaysia. And the increase in the number of DEWAN Undangan Negeri seats is one of the important factors in the quest of more development, especially to attain status of Sarawak Maju Makmur by 2030. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, sebelum aku nuduk ke diri, aku berpesan menuju SPR, berarti ke menua kami kagi tusah, bakai N48 meluan, bisik batang buah sungai ti besai. Ianya sungai Julau, sungai Kenawin, sungai Siaran, sungai Tamai, sungai Mujuk, sungai Lasi, sungai Merurun. Ngau kuasaan ke cukup besar. Tu minta SPR meri penyinu hati. Lalu meri ungkup. Ngagai kami kuasaan meluan. Ngau tu Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, aku nyukung bil tu ngau penuh hati. Terima kasih.
Member for Kota Sentosa.
Dato' Amar Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this consequential bill to increase the number of seats in the DEWAN Undangan Negeri to 99. This proposal is not about drawing new boundaries. It is about ensuring the composition of this House evolves in step with Sarawak's growth in population, in complexity, and in aspiration. It is about honoring our responsibility to provide effective, fair representation to every Sarawakian, urban and rural alike. The power to determine the number of seats lie with this August House under Article 14, Bracket 1, Bracket C of our Sarawak Constitution, not with the Election Commission. Let us not be confused on the difference between redelineation with composition. Once this bill passes, redelineation will follow in accordance with the constitutional processes, public scrutiny, and democratic safeguards. Dato' Amar Speaker, the last increase in seat was over a decade ago. Since then, Sarawak's population has surged past 3 million. Our cities have expanded and our voter rolls have swelled, especially after the introduction of Undi 18 and automatic voter registration. In my constituency of Kota Sentosa, one of the most urban and densely populated in Sarawak, I feel the growing pressure firsthand. One elected representative serving nearly 50,000 voters is not just a statistic, it's a daily challenge in delivering services, solving problems, and responding to real human needs. To those who say representation should not increase simply because our numbers have grown, I say this: representation is not a luxury. It is a pillar of democracy. When constituencies become too large, voices get drowned. And when urban areas are underrepresented, frustrations rise, not because of partisanship, but because people feel unseen and unheard. Contrary to the cynical narratives by the honourable members from Padungan and Pending, this bill is not about entrenching GPS political advantage. It is about equity. It is about modernization. It is about Sarawak claiming its rightful say in how it is governed. And since the honourable member for Padungan has chosen to raise the question of increasing parliamentary seats in this chamber, let me ask him directly. If he genuinely cares about increasing Sarawak's representation in Parliament, why did he not bring a motion in the Dewan Rakyat instead of making rhetorical noise here? As the Member of Parliament for Stampede, he contradicts himself, not on the one hand insisting there is no need to increase state seats, yet on the other hand proposing to increase parliamentary seats. How do you increase parliamentary constituencies if you refuse to first expand and rationalize state seats that form their basis? With 99 state seats, we can credibly fight for more representation in the Dewan Rakyat. If we take the principle that each parliamentary seat comprises roughly 2 Dewan Undangan Negeri seats, Sarawak could argue for 49 parliamentary seats, up from our current allocation. But it appears to me that the member for Padungan is more interested in putting up confusing arguments to score political points rather than laying out a coherent and constructive proposal. Dato' Amar Speaker, the member from Padungan quotes examples from Commonwealth countries, Australia, Canada, South Africa, but seems unwilling to compare Sarawak to West Malaysia or Malaya. Why not look at our own federation? Why ignore the fact that Sarawak's landmass is nearly the same size as the whole of Peninsular Malaysia, which has 505 state seats across 11 states. Peninsular Malaysia is well developed and has robust infrastructure, yet it maintains more than 5 times the number of seats compared to our modest proposal to increase to 99. Why is the honourable member from Padungan so selective in his comparisons? Is he trying to divert attention and mislead the people of Sarawak? Dato' Amar Speaker, Sarawak's geography is vast. Our rural areas deserve a voice, no doubt, but so too do our urban centres, where the majority of economic activity, population density, and service demands are concentrated. Maintaining outdated seat numbers in the face of such growth is not neutrality, it is negligence. Dato' Amar Speaker, let's be honest. Urban constituencies like mine, Kota Sentosa, have borne the brunt of population increases. We cannot keep ignoring this disparity while claiming to defend democratic values. If we are truly serious about addressing imbalances between urban and rural representation, then we must begin by expanding the size of this House. To reject this bill outright, as the honourable members from Pending and Padungan have done, is not check and balance. It is obstruction. It is political theater at the expense of progress. You cannot fix the system if you won't even let the process begin. Dato' Amar Speaker, in Sarawak, a single urban representative can be expected to handle thousands of requests, complaints, and ground issues every month. More seats mean smaller constituencies, closer engagement, and better service delivery. That is not politics. That is practical governance. To my constituents in Kota Sentosa, let me say this. I hear your concerns, I see your struggles, and I will fight to ensure this process results in fairer, more just representation for urban Sarawakians who have long felt overlooked. To the House, I say, this bill is not the end. It is the beginning of a more equitable political future for Sarawak. Let us not vote based on fear, but on faith in the process, in our people, and in Sarawak's rights to evolve as a mature democracy within Malaysia. Before I conclude, I must correct the member from Pending for her fundamental misrepresentation of the Federal Constitution. The member from Pending asserts that Article 46 alone empowers the increase of parliamentary seats without any reference whatsoever to Article 113. This is plainly inaccurate. While Article 46 sets out the total number and distribution of seats in the Dewan Rakyat, Article 113 is crystal clear that any change in the number of seats require a redelineation exercise by the Election Commission to bring it into effect. You cannot simply cherry-pick Article 46 in isolation and expect it to operate automatically. The Constitution demands both provisions be read together in a coherent framework. It would be ironic indeed if parliamentary constituencies were somehow created or increased without regard to existing state constituencies, potentially leading to federal seats that cut across state seat boundaries in an absurd and impractical manner. That is precisely why Article 46 must be read hand in hand with Article 113 to ensure any change is properly delineated, orderly, and constitutionally valid. Furthermore, it is astonishing that the member from Pending is attempting to confuse the issue when the bill before this House concerns the composition of the State Legislative Assembly, not the Dewan Rakyat. Her argument about parliamentary seats is therefore not only irrelevant to this debate, but also reflects either a serious lack of understanding or a deliberate attempt to mislead the public. Before making sweeping constitutional claims, the member from Pending should take time to study the bill thoroughly, rather than peddle half-baked interpretations that do not do justice to the gravity and integrity of this House. I'm going to conclude now, and I have two pantuns, because I've never said a pantun before. Kota Sentosa makin berkembang, rakyat bertambah, teguh, penuh harapan, kerusi ditambah demi seimbang, agar suara semua kedengaran. Sarawak luas, tanah terbentang, populasi pesat tidak keperi. Perwakilan adil kita perjuang, demokrasi matang terus dihargai. Dato' Amar Speaker, let us pass this motion and take one decisive step towards ensuring our Dewan Undangan Negeri truly reflects the Sarawak of today and prepares for the Sarawak of tomorrow. Thank you, Dato' Amar Speaker.
Member for Batu Kitang.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. First and foremost, I wish to extend my sincere sympathy and heartfelt condolences to the Right Honourable Premier of Sarawak on the passing of his beloved wife, Puan Sri Dato' Ahmad Jumaini Tuanku Bujang. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family during this time of profound sorrow. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to debate this important bill tabled by member for N15, Asajaya, the Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, and Minister for Youth, Sports and Entrepreneurial Development. I rise in full support of the DEWAN UNDANGAN Sarawak Composition of Membership Bill 2025 to increase the number of elected members in this August House from 82 to 99. Under Article 113(2) of the Federal Constitution, a delineation exercise may be conducted once every 8 years, and Sarawak is now eligible as our last exercise was completed in 2015. This bill provides the legal foundation for the Election Commission to begin that important process. This is the largest expansion in Sarawak's legislative history, a 20% increase in representation, and it comes at the right time, reflecting the steady growth of our population, the pace of development, and the evolving needs of our people across the region. This bill, made under Article 14(1)(b) of the Sarawak Constitution, empowers the legislature to determine the number of elected members by law. Article 14(2) sets the number at 48 as the default, unless changed by law. And we have changed it many times, most recently in 2015, when we increased it to 82. Today, we continue the same constitutional process, and this bill does not require an amendment to the Sarawak Constitution. We are simply updating the DUS Composition of Membership Ordinance 2014, Chapter 70, as we have done before. This bill matters because it reflects real on-the-ground challenges: a steady increase in electors, the emergence of new semi-urban and remote communities, and the rising public expectations for stronger, more accessible representation and service. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in PRN 2011, Sarawak had 79,796 registered voters. In PRN 2016, after adding 11 new seats, the number rose to 1,138,650, and by PRN 2021, it reached 1,252,014. And with the implementation of automatic voter registration, gazetted on the 17th of January 2022, the electoral roll surged to 1,927,750. And as of the most recent Gazette on the 21st of May 2025, Sarawak now has 2,015,859 registered voters. This is more than 100% increase of registered voters in just over a decade. And yet, the number of seats in this assembly has remained unchanged since 2014. It is clearly time for an update. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I am extremely disappointed to observe that the honourable members for Pending and Pedungan do not support this bill and oppose the proposed increase in seats. This is astounding. It appears that Pending and Pedungan do not seem to want Sarawak and Sabah to have 1/3 representation in Parliament in accordance to MA 63. Member for Padungan says he supports increasing Sarawak's parliamentary seats, yet he refused to support increasing state seats right here in Sarawak.
Are you?
It appears that how can we achieve demand for representation in Parliament if we won't even increase seat representation in our ADUN, in our DUN? To quote
Member for Padungan, no need to shout. He is rebutting your point. I rule. He is rebutting your point.
Dato' Amar Speaker,
No.
it is obvious that member for Padungan is trying to create havoc.
You don't do that. You don't do that. He is rebutting your point. Proceed. You proceed.
Okay, I'm not giving way. I'm not giving way, member of Padungan. I'm not giving way.
No. You sit down. Proceed.
Switch his mic off. Switch off his mic. Yet, how can we achieve demand for more representation in Parliament if we won't even increase seat representation in our own ADUs? To quote the member for Bawang Asan, there is no such thing as one state, one seat in Parliament.
If you continue to do this, I'll send you out. I'm sending you out. Okay.
Once again, we see the typical double standard from DAP. Their arguments are not only inconsistent, they are fundamentally flawed.
I want him to be sent out. Send him out. Bawa dia keluar. You are obstructing. Mak keluar. Tarik. Proceed. Member for Batu Ketang, proceed.
I'll repeat my statement again. Allow me, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker. It is extremely disappointing to observe that honourable members for Pending and Padungan do not support this bill and oppose the proposed increase in seats. Astounding indeed. It appears that Pending and Padungan do not want to support Sarawak and Sabah's wanted representation in Parliament in accordance with MA 63. How can member of Padungan say he support increasing Sarawak seats, yet he refused to support the increased seats right here in Sarawak? Ridiculous. How can we achieve demand for more representation in Parliament if we won't even increase seat representation in our own DUS? To quote honourable member for Bawang Asan, there is no such thing as one state seat for one parliament seat. Once again, we see the typical double standards from DAP. and their arguments are not only inconsistent, they are completely flawed. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Member for Padungan's comparisons to Australia and Canada completely missed the mark as well. Australia and Canada don't have MA63. And they don't have the situation of Sarawak and Sabah. Australia and Canada are entirely different from Malaysia. Sarawak is not just another state. We are a founding partner in the Malaysian Federation, bound by the Malaysian Agreement, 1963. That agreement promised equal partnership and fair representation, not permanent underrepresentation. More seats mean better service, better delivery, faster response to community needs, and more local voices in lawmaking, not just more politicians. We are not copying Canada or Australia. We are responding to Sarawak's unique needs. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, in Sarawak, there are many rural constituencies the size of small states in Malaya, with poor road access, scattered long houses, and limited telecommunication. One ADUS is expected to cover vast terrains, multiple languages, and serious development gaps. That is not the same as serving a rural seat in Alberta or Tasmania with paved roads, broadband internet, and fully funded public services. If Member for Padungan truly believes in serving our people well, he should support what helps Sarawakians most, not cite foreign models to block local solutions. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Member for Pending talked about more development, more facilities, but objected to more seats for Sarawak. Ridiculous indeed. For the information of Member of Pending, Sarawak under our YAB Premier today has built more than 16 major bridges and hundreds of kilometers of roads costing billions of ringgit despite curtailment of major allocations by PKR when they rose to power. And most corners of Sarawak now has water and electricity supplies since GPS formed the backbone of this government. GPS has managed to tax Petronas, bringing in the biggest income to Sarawak compared to the rest of Malaysia, while the promises made by Member of Padungan to return 20% oil royalty and 50% of all taxes collected, the return of autonomy on health and education to Sarawak is still a big joke and a big lie. GPS under YAB Premier has been pouring billions into our rural constituencies to bring about progress and development to all corners of Sarawak. It is therefore imperative for Sarawak to increase our numbers of ADUS to serve the vast areas of Sarawak and, most importantly, to achieve one-third parliamentary representation in the federal government. Here in Sarawak, fair representation must consider more than just numbers. We must also factor in geography, infrastructure, accessibility, and the realities of serving remote populations. This increase to 99 seats helps address that imbalance. It ensures that more Sarawakians, especially those in hard-to-reach and undeserved areas, have a genuine voice in this House. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, this bill is not only lawful, it is necessary. It strengthens our democratic process, enhances representation, and enables more effective governance. I fully support this DEWAN Undangan Sarawak Composition of Membership Bill 2025, and I urge all honourable members of this August House to support it with unity and conviction. With that, thank you very much, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker.
Member for Setakan.
Terima kasih Dato' Amar Speaker. Untuk saya ada ruang untuk mengulas ataupun debat dalam perang undang-undang Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Terima kasih Speaker. Please allow me to debate the way that the kampung people can relate to, like a famous Frank Sinatra song, My Way. Saya tidak mahu mengulas atau mengulangi fakta atau isi-isi yang telah disebut oleh rakan-rakan saya sebelum ini berkenaan dengan penambahan Dewan Undangan Negeri, fakta, tahun dan sebagainya, serta keluasan dan perkara-perkara lain. Tapi apa yang saya nak sebut di sini, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, saya hendak bertanya, apakah tujuan penambahan kawasan DUN untuk Sarawak sudah semestinya faktor keadaan keperluan untuk kemajuan negeri Sarawak? Yang keduanya, apa implikasi kalau setiap DUN baru diwujudkan? Pertama, memudahkan pengurusan. Kedua, mempercepatkan pembangunan. Jadi Dato' Amar, Tan Sri Speaker, rang undang-undang ini memperlihatkan keprihatinan kerajaan GPS untuk lebih membantu rakyat negeri Sarawak. Saya hairan dan pelik kalau tidak ada orang yang mahu menyokong, meluluskan rang undang-undang ini untuk mewujudkan lebih ramai lagi wakil rakyat di dalam negeri Sarawak. Kita tu nak nambah wakil rakyat. Kita hendak menambah jumlah kawasan Dewan Undangan Negeri. Dalam erti katanya, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, kita nak nambah kuli kepada rakyat. Kita wakil rakyat adalah kuli kepada rakyat, hamba yang terhormat. Lebih juga orang yang boleh membantu rakyat secara asasnya. Dan secara dasarnya, penyampaiannya lebih berkesan dapat diterima oleh rakyat yang kita wakili. Macam di dalam kampung juga. Analogi ini saya lebih suka menggunakan analogi yang mudah dipahami oleh rakan-rakan saya di luar sana. Macam di dalam kampung, apabila sebuah kampung terlalu besar, maka akan wujudlah ketua kampung yang baru. Kita salah faham, di dalam kampung ada sebuah kampung di sebelah hulu, hilir, tengah, dan itulah keperluan kita apabila diwujudkan ketua kampung untuk membantu rakyat di dalam kampung, iaitu memudahkan pengurusan penyampaian dasar daripada pihak kerajaan terus kepada masyarakat kampung. Perumpamaan ini seolah-olah macam wakil rakyat kita ditambah untuk kita memudahkan pengurusan dan membantu seterusnya, Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, untuk kita membuat ataupun mewujudkan, mempercepatkan kemajuan yang disalurkan oleh pihak kerajaan kepada masyarakat penduduk orang-orang Sarawak. Di samping itu juga, penambahan bilangan Tok Kelak secara langsung akan membantu setiap permasalahan serta memudahkan pengurusan di suatu tempat. Tuan Sri Speaker, kalau kita mempunyai sebuah kebun yang besar, kalau kita mempunyai tanaman yang banyak, haiwan peliharaan yang banyak, sudah semestinya kita memerlukan lebih banyak pekerja. Kalau kita nak nebas pokok, nak nebas rumput, kita memerlukan mesin yang banyak. Jadi tidak salah apabila kita menambah mesin lagi supaya kebun tu, taman tu dapat diurus tadbir dengan lebih jelas dan lebih cekap proinsit sehingga menghasilkan tuaian yang lebih banyak pada masa hadapan. Tuan Sri Speaker, peranan ini diambil oleh pihak SPR. Ini bukan peranan pihak GPS untuk menentukan kelulusan. Pihak GPS hari ini mencadangkan kepada pihak SPR supaya diadakan lebih banyak lagi kawasan Dewan Undangan Negeri. Jadi terpulang kepada pihak SPR. Jadi sudah semestinya pihak SPR adalah satu agensi yang bertanggungjawab, sebuah agensi yang profesional yang diguna pakai bukan hanya pada hari ini, tapi diguna pakai sejak sekian lama. Kenapa kita harus tidak mempercayai SPR? Karena SPR telah sudah mempraktikkan cara pembahagian tempat tidak hanya untuk kawasan-kawasan tertentu saja. Sebagai contoh, kawasan saya di Setakan hanya 100 km persegi. Ya, memang kecil, tidak semesti besar kawasan Baram, tidak sebesar kawasan-kawasan lain, tetapi saya akur. Walaupun penduduk kawasan saya, population pengundi saya besar, penduduk kawasan saya padat, tapi saya akur sekiranya kawasan saya tidak terpilih. Kerana saya yakin pihak SPR mempunyai kaedah yang terbaik untuk mewujudkan sesuatu kawasan demi kesejahteraan pembangunan di dalam satu tempat, khususnya dalam negeri Sarawak yang kita cintai ini. Tuan Sri Speaker, saya tidak bercakap banyak kerana waktu saya berlari tadi idea saya dah hilang. Jadi masih lelah. Saya memuji, menyokong pihak yang berhormat Asajaya tadi kerana dengan begitu konsistennya mencadangkan supaya rang undang-undang ini dapat diluluskan. Maka dengan ini Setakan mohon menyokong rang undang-undang Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Bukit Bangunan.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to participate in the debate on DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025, tabled by Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan, dan juga ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N12 Asajaya this morning. But before proceeding further, like the other member of this August House, on behalf of the people of the State Constituency of Bukit Bangunan, I wish to convey and express heartfelt condolences to Yang Berhormat and family members on the passing of his beloved wife. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Foremost, Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, I wish to thank Yang Berhormat Menteri Pelancongan, Industri Kreatif dan Seni Persembahan, who is also a member for N15 Asajaya, for tabling a very important and significant piece of bill, the DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Members Bill 2025, which seeks to increase members of DEWAN Undangan Negeri from currently 82 to 99 members. I also wish to thank Yang Mat Berhormat, the Premier of Sarawak, for undertaking a very important step to increase the DUN members to 99. With the passing of the bill, it will make Sarawak DEWAN Undangan Negeri the biggest in terms of representation in the whole of state, among the states of Malaysia. Syabas Yang Mat Berhormat, Premier. Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker, I wish to make general comment in support of the bill. As had been said by the Honourable Minister, the member of the DUN was last increased in 2004 to 82 members. The next review was supposed to be 8 years after that. Hence, it is now overdue, and the tabling of the bill today is timely and appropriate. Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker, the proposed increase in DUN or DEWAN Undangan Negeri seat or DUN members is indeed the good news for people in the state, particularly those in rural areas. The development of rural areas could be accelerated by increasing the state constituency. As we all know, the state government under Yang Mat Berhormat, the Premier, has allocated substantial amount of fund for development purposes. Now, the more seats that we have, the more members that we have, the same amount of fund that was allocated to each individual member will be used or will be utilized in much or less in a much smaller state constituency. So, and B, why I support the bill, the voters has increased substantially from 1.138 million voters in 2006 to 1.927 million as at 15th of December 2024. The increase is due to lower voting age to 18 years and the implementation of automatic voters registration. As at April 2025, the voters had further increased to 2.05 million. Hence, it is appropriate to increase DUN members to better serve the people in the state. DUN should remain dynamic, in tune with the needs, aspiration of people, and also the aspiration of government, and in accordance with the Constitution. Yang Berhormat Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker, some members of this August House serve the state constituency the size of nearly as large as some states in Semenanjung Malaysia, which is not only challenging but a daunting task. Therefore, Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker, it is in as far as possible, I hope there will be a fair distribution of the new constituency, taking into account the demographic breakdown and the state geographical situation. This will ensure all parts of the state will benefit from this exercise. And Tan Sri Dr. Mas Speaker, with the proposed increase in DEWAN Undangan Negeri members, hopefully the various ethnic communities could be represented in the state legislature to voice their need and predicament This is important in the context of power sharing as practiced by the GPS government. Fair ethnic representation go well for the unity and solidarity among the diverse community in the state. So the tabling of the bill also reflects the government's firm commitment to better serve the people. There is, in as far as possible, all strata of society to benefit from the government policies. Next year marked the beginning of the 13th Malaysia Plan. Thus, the increase in state seats is indeed done at the appropriate time. With the above short comment, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I support DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Members Bill 2025. Thank you.
Member for Repok.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Salam sejahtera, salam saudaraku sayang, salam Sarawak maju mampu. Terima kasih kepada Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker kerana memberi ruang kepada saya untuk turut serta bersama ahli-ahli yang berhormat dalam Dewan yang mulia ini bagi membahaskan ruang undang-undang Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Terlebih dahulu saya ingin mengambil kesempatan untuk merakamkan ucapan tahniah kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Johari bin Tun Datuk Abang Haji Open, Premier Sarawak dan seisi keluarga atas pemanggilan isteri Puan Sri Datuk Amat Haja Jumani Tun Tuanku Haji Bujan. Saya mendoakan agar Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Sarawak serta keluarga dikurniakan ketabahan dan kekuatan dalam menghadapi dugaan ini. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, pada tengah hari yang penuh pemakna ini, saya ingin merakamkan sokongan padu terhadap ruang undang-undang yang dibentangkan. Unsur ini amat penting dalam memastikan kelangsungan serta keberkesanan urusan pentadbiran dan pembangunan negeri Sarawak yang kita cintai. Kelulusan ruang undang-undang ini akan memperkukuh keupayaan kerajaan negeri untuk melaksanakan tanggungjawab secara teratur, cekap dan berkesan. Seiring pertambahan jumlah penduduk serta keluasan geografi negeri adalah wajar dan perlu untuk menambah jumlah ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri. Ini bagi memastikan beban tugas bagi rakyat diakhirkan secara lebih adil dan seimbang. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, kawasan pilihan raya yang terlalu besar sering menyulitkan wakil rakyat dalam melaksanakan tugas berhubung secara efektif dengan semua pengundi. Lebih-lebih lagi bagi wakil rakyat yang mewakili kawasan pendalaman, mereka berdepan cabaran logistik dan akses fisikal yang ketara. Ini sedikit sebanyak telah mencecahkan penyampaian perkhidmatan yang lebih berkesan oleh adun kepada penduduk dalam kawasan masing-masing. Jika kawasan dibahagikan kepada unit yang lebih kecil, wakil rakyat dapat menumpukan perhatian secara lebih berfokus kepada keperluan rakyat setempat, terutamanya di kawasan luar bandar. Ini juga membolehkan pendekatan yang lebih tertumpu dalam pencapaian khidmat rakyat. Selain itu, dengan pembahagian kawasan secara lebih seimbang tanah pembangunan dapat disalurkan secara lebih khusus, terus dan berkesan. Kawasan Sepulung ini yang menerima akihan terhad kini berpeluang menikmati pembangunan setempat yang lebih menyeluruh dan lestari. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, pertambahan bilangan kerusi Dewan Undangan Negeri juga akan membuka lebih banyak ruang untuk pelaksanaan projek pembangunan berskala kecil tetapi berimpak besar. Berdasarkan keperluan sebenar penduduk di setiap kawasan, ini sejajar dengan aspirasi pembangunan seimbang antara kawasan bandar dan luar bandar. Adalah amat signifikan bahawa majoriti kerusi baharu akan diwujudkan di kawasan luar bandar dengan perwakilan yang lebih seimbang. Isu-isu berkaitan infrastruktur, asas kemudahan pendidikan, akses kesihatan dan peluang ekonomi di kawasan pendalaman akan dapat dikedengarkan lebih efektif dan berkesan. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, saya menyuruh agar semua ahli yang berhormat dalam Dewan ini menyokong ruang undang-undang ini secara sebulat suara demi kemajuan dan kesejahteraan rakyat Sarawak. Usul ini bukan semata-mata soal angka dan kerusi, tetapi soal memperkasakan demokrasi, merapatkan jurang pembangunan dan menjulang suara rakyat di setiap pelosok negeri. Dengan penuh keyakinan dan rasa tanggungjawab, saya menyatakan sokongan sepenuhnya terhadap ruang undang-undang Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Sekian, terima kasih.
Member for Puchut.
Thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Thank you for allowing me to participate in the debate on the bill, Dewan Undangan Negeri, Composition of Membership, Bill 2025, to increase the membership from the present 82 to 99. Before I proceed further, and on behalf of my constituents of N74 Pujut and my family, I would like to express our deepest condolences to our beloved Yang Amat Berhormat Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Johari bin Tun Datuk Tuanku Abang Haji Open on the passing of his beloved wife, Wan Sri Datuk Ama Jumaini Tuanku Bujan on June 23, 2025. Our thoughts and sympathy are with our beloved YAB Premier and his family. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I rise today to express my full support for the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. The rationale and justification for this bill has been very well articulated by the Minister for Tourism, Creative Industries and Performing Arts, Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah when he tabled this bill this morning. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, over the years, the composition of Dewan Undangan Negeri has been amended in response to the changing times and circumstances. The Assembly has 48 seats in 1969, 56 seats in 1985, 62 seats in 1995, 71 seats in 2005, and eventually 82 seats in 2014. And today we are debating the bill, Dewan Undangan Negeri, Composition of Membership Bill 2025, to increase the number of seats from 82 seats to 99 seats. The tabling of this bill today is timely
strategic, and necessary that reflects the growth, aspirations, and also to address the present circumstances and environment. Under the automatic voters registration and the UNDI 18, the lowering of the voting age from 21 years old to 18 years old, the number of voters in Sarawak has a dramatic increase from 1,252,014 registered voters in PRN 2021 to 2,015,859 voters gazetted on 21st May 2025. This is an increase of 763,845 voters, and that is 61% increase as compared to the numbers of registered voters at PRN 2021. Now, this bill seeks the increase from 82 seats to 99 seats. That is 17 seats and a 20% increase. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, it is important to note that this bill only enacts the composition of the membership of the DEWAN Undangan Negeri, meaning that the number of the seats for the DEWAN Undangan Negeri. It does not deal with the delineation of the respective seats. The delineation of the respective seats falls under the jurisdiction of the Election Commission, SPR. However, it is expected that the delineation exercise will take into account both the number of voters as well as the size of the respective constituency in order to be fair, equitable, and balanced. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, under the dynamic leadership of our Yang Amat Berhormat Premier, Sarawak is forging ahead proactively and aggressively to develop Sarawak into the high-income state under the post-COVID Development Strategy 2030, PCDS 2030. Therefore, one of the rationale for the increase of the number of seats from 82 to 99 is to ensure that development and services can be effectively delivered to the people on the ground so that no one is left behind. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, the bigger political perspective is that upon the amendment to Article 1(2) and Article 160(2) of the Federal Constitution 2021, Sarawak, Sabah, and Malaya are now officially recognized as equal partners in the formation of Malaysia, as originally intended under the Malaysia Agreement 1963, MA 63. And it is under MA 63 that we are seeking, together with Sabah, to have 1/3 of the parliamentary seats. And this increase of the number of seats in our DEWAN Undangan will provide the legal and constitutional basis for the increase of parliamentary seats for Sarawak in the near future. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, I find the pontification by YB Penting and YB Padungan most entertaining. I say entertaining because they are really meant for entertainment only. I would like to draw the attention of this DEWAN that YB Padungan had once articulated so eloquently in this August DEWAN that once Pakatan Harapan is in power at the federal level, Sarawak will get 20% of the oil and gas royalty automatically without begging. And what do we get? A big fat zero. There are so many more of such theatrics that I do not need to elaborate here. As a matter of fact, there is hardly any issues articulated by them have ever come to pass. Moreover, YB Padungan has predictably registered his opposition to the increase of the composition of membership of the DEWAN Undangan Sarawak while expressing his support for Sarawak to increase the number of parliamentary seats. There seems that he has a disconnect because he failed to recognize that the relation between the state seats and parliamentary seats. There will be no increase in parliamentary seats if there is no corresponding increase in the number of the state seats. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. With that, N74 Pujut fully supports the Dewan Undangan Negeri bracket composition of membership 2025 as a necessary and strategic move towards realizing the aspirations of our people, strengthening Sarawak's political standing, securing a future where the Sarawak people's voices are heard, our rights protected, and our destiny is shaped by ourselves, Sarawakians. Thank you.
I now call upon the Honourable Minister to do the winding up.
Finally. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good evening. Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker. Looking at the overwhelming number of ahli-ahli yang berhormat yang telah berucap, yang kebanyakannya menyokong, hampir semuanya menyokong rang undang-undang ini menunjukkan how important this particular bill is. Terlebih dahulu saya ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan juga terima kasih kepada ahli-ahli yang berhormat yang telah mengambil bahagian dalam perbahasan dan sekaligus menyokong rang undang-undang kali ini. Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih kepada ahli-ahli yang berhormat daripada Balingian, daripada Bukit Asik, Tamin, Murum, Daro, Tebedek, Lingga, Opar, Telian, Bukit Semuja, Pelagus, Ngemah, Pending, Padungan, Engkelili, Bawang Asan, Tupung, Meradong, Batu Lintang, Katibas, Baleh, Krian, Tanjung Batu, Telang Usan, Meluan, Kota Sentosa, Batu Kitang, Setakan, Bukit Bangunan, Repuk dan yang terakhir tadi Pujut. Kesemuanya 31 ahli-ahli yang berhormat telah berucap, membahas rang undang-undang ini dan seperti apa yang saya telah maklumkan tadi, ini menunjukkan berapa pentingnya dan berapa rapatnya ahli-ahli yang berhormat berkenaan dengan isu dan juga apa yang hendak dibawa oleh rang undang-undang ini. Secara umumnya semua ahli yang berhormat bersetuju dan juga menyokong rang undang-undang ini dan memahami hasrat dan juga tujuan rang undang-undang ini digubal. Saya amat menghargai segala pandangan, cadangan dan juga idea-idea bernas yang telah dikemukakan oleh ahli-ahli yang berhormat di dalam perbahasan kali ini. Well, I wish to reiterate, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, that this Dewan Undangan Negeri must remain dynamic, must remain responsive to the demographic shift, development and the growing demand for more equitable representation in this august House. This is to ensure that it continues to reflect the voices and the aspiration of all Sarawakians. Well, quoting Honourable Member from Bawang Asan in his debate on the bill is not just about numbers. The bill is for Sarawakians to be well represented and well served. This is a constitutional exercise done in the spirit of justice. Correctly said by most of the honourable members that supported the bill, This exercise is not about delineation of constituency. It is about increasing the composition in the number of ADUN or state assemblymen or state representatives in this August House from the present 82 to 99. And in this process, for Sarawakians to be better served, as opposed to the contention from members, honorable members from Pending as well as from Padungan, who seem to imply and insinuate that it's meant to strengthen the present government GPS. GPS or this August House or the government of the day has no say whatsoever on where the delineation of the new 17 seats, as it is entirely the prerogative of Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya or SPR. Suruhanjaya SPR is a commission set up to ensure fair and equitable operation in undertaking election in Malaysia. The members of SPR are appointed by Yang di-Pertuan Agong, our king, who must consult with the Conference of Rulers before he named those who are going to sit in as commissioners or as ahli lembaga SPR. So as it is, SPR is an impartial commission. It is not set up by the state government. And of course, accusing the state government or its August House as practicing gerrymandering in this exercise or this delineation exercise tantamount to questioning or demeaning those that have been appointed by Yang di-Pertuan Agong. As it is SPR that will be doing that exercise. We have seen how the honorable member from Padungan as well, especially from Pending, has mentioned about the exercise is untimely, it's unfair, it's costly, unnecessary, as well as politically motivated. That what the state government is doing, what this August House is doing, tantamount to gerrymandering. It is uncalled for, it is slanderous and demeaning to the sincere effort of SPR, which is an impartial entity. On this note, before that, the honourable member for Padungan and Pending also raised, among others, on the issue of the increase of the parliamentary seats. They will only support if the bill or if the effort is to increase parliamentary seats, but not state seats. And it has been debated by Abang Hassan and few other honourable members that it cannot be done that way. Parliamentary seats, if there is any effort or any request to increase the number of parliamentary seats, there must also be an increase in the state seats. And hopefully with this increase, and if it is adopted today, and if it's adopted in Parliament later, it will also be reflected in an increase in the parliamentary seats and in our effort to increase the number of our percentage in the Dewan Rakyat as per our request, that is for Sabah and Sarawak to be represented by 1/3 representation. We will leave it to the Election Commission to do the necessary pursuant to Article 113 of the Federal Constitution. The process for delineation for the federal and state constituencies is to be done concurrently, and this is in line with the procedures as set out in the 13th schedule of the Federal Constitution. There is no doubt that the call for an increase in the parliamentary seats is among the key demands that the Sarawak government has been vigorously pursuing. The Honourable Member for Padungan also raised the issue on the ratio of population and the number of representatives. I wish to bring the attention of this August House on the example which is more familiar to us. In the year 2024, that is last year, the Wales Parliament has passed the Senate SAMRU, or Members and Election Act 2024, on the 8th of May 2024, which among others increased the number of constituencies in the Wales Parliament from 60 to 96. That is a huge increase from 60 to 96, which is an increase of 60%. What was alleged by the Yang Berhormat Honourable Member for Padungan, if I'm not mistaken, this bill that we are tabling today, which we are debating today, tantamount to an increase of 20%. And they allege that it is very costly, it's a waste of money. And why I bring this thing up is to show that if there is a need for it to be increased, we will do it. Because it's not just us who is doing it. Last year, Wales Parliament increased the number of constituencies, as I mentioned just now, from 60 seats to 96 seats. 60% increase from the existing number. Geographically, Sarawak is approximately 6 times larger than Wales. If Wales were overlaid within Sarawak, there would still be room to accommodate 5 more additional seats or additional areas for Wales. It is worth noting that the estimated population of Wales and Sarawak are almost identical. There's 3.16 million in Wales and about 2.9 million respectively for Sarawak in 2024. Even the similar demographic and roles within a federal structure, it is reasonable to expect that Sarawak be afforded comparable representation, particularly considering the precedent set in Wales. In the light of this comparison, a proposed increase of only 20%, which we are doing today in the Sarawak State Legislative Assembly, especially when compared to Wales, then the 60% increase should not be seen as excessive and unreasonable. On this note, I wish to thank all honourable members for their participation in expressing constructive views and suggestions while debating this bill. Tan Sri Dato' Amar Speaker, I feel very privileged being given the honour to table this bill. I know the next tabling probably will be another more than 10 years from now. This is the largest increase that we have done. I think we have done in any of the states in Malaysia. Well, I might not be able to see the next one. If it is more than 10 years away, probably a lot of us might have might not be around anymore. Sekali lagi saya ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi terima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Premier for giving me the opportunity, the privilege to table this bill. And I wish to once again thank all honourable members who have debated on this bill and giving it its support. Sekian, terima kasih.
Yang Berhormat, the question before the DEWAN is that the motion standing in the order paper in the name of the Honourable Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Art, and Minister for Youth and Sports and Entrepreneur Development Sarawak, and member for N15 Asajaya, be referred to the committee of the whole House. As many as the opinions say yes, as many contrary opinions say no, the yes of it, the motion is passed and referred to the committee of the whole House. The DEWAN shall now resolve into the committee of the whole House to consider the bill which stands committed to the committee. The DEWAN shall now consider DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025.
Clauses 1 to 3.
The question is that clauses 1 to 3 are ordered to stand part of the bill. As many as the opinions say yes, as many contrary opinions say no, the yes of it, clauses 1 to 3 are ordered to stand part of the bill.
Enacting clauses entitled,
the DEWAN shall now resume. Minister.
I beg to move that the DEWAN Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 be now read a third time and do pass.
No. You wish to report to the DEWAN Undangan Negeri that the bill considered by the committee and agreed to without amendment. That you wish to report to the DEWAN that
I wish to report to the DEWAN that this bill
had been considered by the committee.
Has been considered by the committee.
Without amendment.
Without amendment. Thank you.
Rang Undang-Undang Kerajaan bacaan kali yang ketiga, Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025, Minister for Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts and Minister for Youth and Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Sarawak.
Honourable Minister.
I wish to report that the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 has been considered by the committee of this whole House.
No. You wish that you beg to move that the bill is read for the third time and do pass.
Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, I beg to move that the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 be now read a third time and do pass.
Ahli Yang Berhormat, the question before the Dewan is that the Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025 be read a third time and do pass. As many opinions say yes, as many contrary opinions say no, the yes of it, the bill is read a third time and pass.
Dewan Undangan Negeri Composition of Membership Bill 2025. Usul penangguhan Yang Berhormat Timbalan Menteri Pendidikan, Inovasi dan Pembangunan Bakat, Pengajian Tinggi dan Inovasi dan Ahli Dewan Undangan Negeri N55 Nangka.
Terima kasih Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker kerana memberi ruang untuk saya membawa usul penangguhan kepada mesyuarat khas kita pada hari ini, iaitu Mesyuarat Kedua Penggal Keempat Dewan Undangan Negeri Sarawak yang ke-19. I do accept that at 5 p.m. it's not easy for me to give a lengthy speech after the whole Dewan has debated the bill and passed. But I will try saving the best for last. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, hari ini adalah merupakan suatu hari yang bersejarah kerana kita telah meluluskan rang undang-undang Composition of Membership daripada 82 kerusi kepada 99. Dan saya bersetuju dengan Asajaya, undang-undang ini berkemungkinan akan dibawa semula ke Dewan Yang Mulia ini tidak kurang daripada 8 tahun daripada masa sekarang. And most of us might not be around at that particular time.
Don't be too pessimistic.
As a doctor, I speak based on the facts that at the age of this, we might not go beyond what we have it now. Whatever it is, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, sejarah ini amat penting untuk rakyat negeri Sarawak. Kerana pada hari ini, suara rakyat daripada setiap pelosok negeri Sarawak akan bertambah di dalam Dewan Yang Mulia ini. Ini adalah penting dalam amalan demokrasi kita. Sebuah kerajaan yang berpaksikan demokrasi, iaitu kerajaan daripada rakyat, oleh rakyat, untuk rakyat. Ataupun apa yang disebut oleh Abraham Lincoln, the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Oleh sebab itu, saya bersetuju kepada seluruh ahli Dewan pada hari ini kecuali 2 orang yang tidak menyokong rang undang-undang ini. Saya ucap syabas dan tahniah kepada semua ahli-ahli Dewan Undangan. Lebih daripada itu, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, mereka berbahas dengan penuh bertemadun. Tidak ada unsur-unsur berteriak, mencerca, mencaci ataupun seperti monyet kena belacan, seperti yang berlaku di tempat-tempat lain dalam Dewan. Sekali lagi, saya ucap tahniah dan syabas kepada ahli yang berhormat daripada GPS. Yang paling signifikannya dalam perdebatan pada hari ini ialah kebanyakannya daripada ahli-ahli menyuarakan betapa pentingnya suara pelusuk rakyat Sarawak mesti kita sama-sama bawa ke Dewan yang mulia ini. Ini menunjukkan bahawa ahli-ahli yang berhormat mementingkan politik equity ataupun equity of democracy. Tidak mementingkan semata-mata equality ataupun kesamarataan. Equity bermaksud fairness ataupun keadilan. Keadilan penting untuk mencapai kesamarataan. Kita ada 27 ethnic group di seluruh Sarawak. Kalau kita one man, one vote, one value, ini akan tidak memberi ruang sama langsung kepada kumpulan-kumpulan minoriti. Dan akhirnya, majoritilah yang akan mentadbir secara totalitarian. Dan ini tidak bagus ataupun tidak baik dari segi demokrasi. Saya ucap syabas kerana kita berjaya meningkatkan jumlah kerusi dan seterusnya akan pasti dapat memberi ruang kepada kumpulan ataupun ethnic group yang minoriti supaya suara mereka juga berhak didengar di Dewan yang mulia ini. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, one man, one vote, one value tidak diguna di seluruh dunia ini. Malah di Amerika Syarikat, pemilihan presidennya tidak menggunakan prinsip tersebut. Mereka menggunakan electoral college, winner take all. Malah ada dalam sejarah presiden dilantik tanpa memenangi popular vote pada tahun 2016. Jadi, apabila seseorang itu hendak mempertahankan prinsip one man, one vote, one value, hanyalah semata-mata tidak memikir kepentingan masyarakat lain. Perkara kedua yang dibawa ialah mengenai isu gerrymandering yang berasal daripada 2 cantuman ayat Albridge Gerry dan Salamander. Saya sebenarnya ada suatu contoh yang terbaik bahawa perkara ini tidak berlaku di negeri kita dan tidak juga mempengaruhi keputusan pilihan raya. Pada tahun 2016, DAP memenangi 7 kerusi. Selepas itu pada tahun 2022, tanpa persempadanan semula. Maksudnya tidak ada wujud gerrymandering, mereka kalah teruk dengan hanya 2 kerusi, iaitu Pending dan Padungan. Ini bukti yang jelas bahawa bukannya gerrymandering yang menyebabkan mereka kalah, tetapi saya setuju dengan Tupong yang mengatakan bahawa performance mereka ditolak oleh rakyat ataupun performance GPS diterima oleh rakyat di bawah pimpinan yang amat berhormat Premier kita. Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker, dengan 2 faktor yang saya sebutkan tadi, akhirnya saya hendak menyampaikan suatu yang dibawa yang mengatakan bahawa dengan adanya penambahan kursi ini akan menambah bajet kerajaan untuk membayar allowance ahli-ahli yang berhormat baru, iaitu 17 orang. Kalau 17 orang ni dia hanya memerlukan 4.5 juta untuk bayar allowance. Tetapi 17 kawasan akan menikmati 120 juta bajet kerajaan untuk pembangunan. Adakah kita tidak mahu 120 juta ini kepada rakyat disebabkan 4.5 juta tadi? Jadi ini suatu perbandingan yang tidak masuk akal, hanyalah untuk mengelirukan masyarakat kita di luar. Akhir sekali, saya sekali lagi mengucapkan berbanyak terima kasih kepada Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker dan juga kepada Asajaya dan seluruh yang berada di Dewan pada hari ini, kerana kita telah berjaya menjalankan suatu proses yang penting dengan penuh tata tertib dan dekorum. Dengan itu, saya ingin mencadangkan penangguhan mesyuarat khas kita pada petang ini. Terima kasih Tan Sri Datuk Amat Speaker.
Ahli yang berhormat, dengan ucapan usul penangguhan itu tadi, maka kita telah sampai ke penghujung Mesyuarat Kedua Penggal Keempat Dewan Undangan Negeri ke-19. Alhamdulillah, persidangan yang berlangsung selama 1 hari telah berjalan dengan lancar dan teratur atas kerjasama dan keprihatinan semua ahli yang berhormat yang menjaga ketinggian dan kemuliaan Dewan yang mulia ini. Saya berdoa agar semua ahli-ahli yang berhormat kembali ke kawasan masing-masing dengan selamatnya dan terus berkhidmat kepada rakyat. Begitu juga kepada semua yang hadir, selamat pulang ke destinasi yang dituju. Bagi pihak Dewan yang mulia ini, saya ingin mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang telah menjayakan persidangan ini. Bagi pihak Dewan yang mulia ini juga, saya mengucapkan selamat menyambut Hari Sarawak. Semoga Sarawak bumi kenyalang terus maju makmur. Selamat menyambut Hari Kebangsaan dan selamat menyambut Hari Malaysia. Ahli yang berhormat, the House is now adjourned. Sine die.